Wojtek, Frontline Defenders. Can you tell me what Frontline Defenders is and its entire purpose?
This is the Dublin-based human rights organization that is working with human rights around the world. So people who are at risk from their governments and from commercial companies, and who are trying to protect and help others so the human rights are preserved in their communities.
And how would you sum up the problem? Because at the moment we live in a world where, on one hand we have social media enabling all kinds of commentary, but at the same time it creates identity, and also where people who maybe, speaking out or trying to highlight a problem or injustice often then become the targets.
Yeah, so one aspect of Frontline Defenders' work is protecting, advising people how they can protect their own communication and information that they store. And as you mentioned, like, people use different services and they use different devices, different programs. So we try to advise people what choices they can make, that protect and improve their security. So what devices do you choose for which purposes? What programs do you use for different purposes of communication? What services you should avoid and which services you are safer to use? And we have this project that is called Security in a Box that is freely available in the internet, securityinabox.org, and it has been translated into 12 languages, and it's a collection of tools and practices for human rights defenders to improve the digital communication, and it's sort of like a shrinking their digital shadow in the internet. So this is of course important for everyone, but human rights defenders are people who are especially targeted in their communities. So this is really essential. This is a matter of life and death for those people. People get to really extreme situation. They've been arrested, tortured because of their presence and because of their communication in the internet. So that's really important. And social media is a very important tool, but also there are other ways, and there are strategies that you can implement to be anonymous, for example, in the social media, to be more secure. And that's where we're looking at for help from commercial companies to help implement those strategies.
Very good. Shahzad, I'm going to ask you about the work you're doing in Pakistan and how Frontline Defenders is helping you and your organization in helping protect people who are helping protect others.
Thank you. My name is Shahzad and I work for Bytes for All, this an organization based in Pakistan. So we are a research think tank and a human rights organization, and we are trying to put up a good fight against internet censorship and then digital surveillance that is happening in Pakistan in the wake of Finn Fisher and a major internet fireball that is NetSweeper in the country. In addition to that, the second part of your question, we are trying to implement digital security practices, particularly trying to safeguard the human rights movement in the country, working with civil society organizations, working with women rights organizations and other, for example, minority organizations to help them be safe and be expressive as well, but I mean not at any risk. So I mean we are trying to provide them with tools and with trainings on digital security, and our digital security program is helped and supported by Frontline Defenders and Technical Tech Collective, and all of them have contributed to this, and this is how we are now taking it forward at a national level, and in fact at regional level as well. We have done some trainings in the region also.
I'd like to ask you both a final question really about, in most cases in the world, it's a case of resources against people, like a lot of governments and a lot of corporates would have a lot deeper pockets often. Is there a bit of a race against time in terms of technology? These people can come up with better technologies faster? Or are you finding that because of the democratization of technology that a lot of the tools are being developed on an open source level that might allow you to basically, for once, match them in that race? I'll start with you, Wojtek.
Yeah. So you mentioned open source. This is the basis of our beliefs. The trust in the communication and tools comes from the openness. So basically, the commercial race would not apply as much here. This would be more important to have tools that are open source, and that it would be more important to have tools in a sense of hardware and services that are more open. Like we see some of the companies they open up more, they become more transparent. People are starting to publish the transparency reports. this is very promising, but it needs to go much deeper. It needs to go to internet standards. It needs to go as far as rebuilding the internet into open manner, so it's more secure.
I think, I mean, more efforts needs to be put in terms of building capacities, or I mean we have tools now, I mean, and there are developers out there who are, I mean, what I said yesterday in my panel as well, who are coding for the human rights. So there is tools, there are softwares, there is technology, and we need to bring it to the people who need it most, who are on the front lines, who are facing it, and the people whose freedom of expression is in danger, in threat. So I mean, all of us need to get together and then push it a bit more. Yes, we know there are several governments and so-called democratic governments in the West, in North America, in Asia, who are now putting more and more infringements on the freedom of speech and on the digital surveillance as well. But we need to fight back, and then we need to fight hard, and then we need to fight back in a very organized manner, and then we will definitely get there.
Guys, thank you very much. That's great. Super. That was great. Very constructive. So thank you.